Hey everybody, my name is Hector and I welcome you to the Design Your LA River series of workshops brought to you by the Elysian Valley Arts Collective here in Frogtown. As you may know, we've shifted the workshop to a recorded online series to make it as convenient as possible for everyone to participate, without having to worry about attending scheduled meetings every week. Now, let's introduce the class. Over a series of 4 recorded online videos, you can develop your idea of what the LA River means to you and how you want to see it change. Through these workshops, we will explore design topics like hearing and gathering, concept development, creating and challenging ideas, and lastly, storytelling. Anyone can attend and follow along, but our goal of the workshop is to help you, the student, successfully submit a proposal to the Lewis MacAdams 18-year-old and under prize for imagining your LA River. These classes will help you develop your idea by providing the support and design resources you'll need along the way. No experience necessary. Over the next 4 weeks, we will learn what it takes to develop a proposal for the Lewis MacAdams Prize, and I'm excited to be your maestro as we think through the history of the LA River and how we can make it a better, more fun place for you and your neighbors. Today's workshop is about hearing and gathering. With hearing and gathering, we'll take the time to understand more about the current form of the LA River and think through the feelings and experiences of being in the river. On screen is an outline for today's workshop. We will start by asking a question, followed by introducing the competition prompt, followed by a discussion on public art, then talking a little bit about the history of the LA River, and then lastly, introducing the challenge. Over the 4 videos, I will introduce a challenge which is meant to help shape your project. The first challenge that I will introduce at the end of the video will help you hear and gather. As we look around at the context of the river, of its surroundings, this will help us start to build a base for our idea and our concept, our proposal of what should be on the LA River. So, we'll begin by doing a sort of an icebreaker. I'd like to start with a question for you. What is your favorite public space or art installation? This can be a plaza, a mural, somewhere or something that you really like. Since you're going to imagine your own art destination on the LA River, it's helpful to think about your own favorite place where people gather or enjoy. Can anybody tell me what these are? So one of my favorite places is the Urban Lights at LACMA by Chris Burden. Something that I find unique about this art installation is that none of these lights were made especially for the installation. They were regular street lamps that were repurposed, and shown in this new way. And now, they're arranged in such a way, out of context, right? Out of where they should be, to create space, to create a feeling of, for me, like you're in a forest, you're in an urban forest, you're in something completely man-made, and yet it feels so natural. So, to begin, let's review the competition prompt. This is the Lewis MacAdams Prize competition put on by the LA River Public Arts Project, in honor, of course, of Lewis MacAdams, the founder of the Friends of the LA River. So this year, the prompt is to imagine the LA River, LA's most connected open space and longest, as a public art destination. So, the thing about it is there's no pretend as if you had unlimited amounts of money and you could just make something that was pleasant, that didn't require any permits, any other thing, anywhere along the length of the 51-mile river. And the submission deadline is, of course, July 20th, so it's exactly 4 weeks and 2 days from today. And it's eligible to anybody, but for the case of our class, it'll be emerging artists, 18-year-old and younger. Now that we have a grasp of the prompt of the competition, and before we take a look at the history of the LA River and what makes it what it is now, let's take a look at what public art means and what public art is, right? So public art is anything that is designed for and accessible by the public, right? But that can take on many different forms. Now we're going to look at a few examples of public art. Public art can be changed by its environment. This is the Her Secret is a Patience by Janet Eckelman installation in Phoenix, Arizona. The netting is over 30 feet off the ground and over 100 feet tall. The netting is designed to show the movements of the wind, its shape changing as the winds change. And as the winds pick up or change, the shape changes, uh, and the way you perceive or that you take in the art changes in that same way. Art can also be interactive and playful, like the work by Light Writers for the Frogtown Art Walk in 2018. And if you're familiar with this project, it was 2,500 feet long, and it contained 110 individual lanterns. And what was amazing, is that they were all synced up and controlled by a Wii controller. So let me zoom in on this video. I don't know if you saw, but the children were dancing, and they had the controller in their hand that controlled, over 2,000 LEDs, all in real time. Public art can also be collaborative. Another great example of public art is the Great Wall of Los Angeles by Judith Baca. Organized in 1978, it took Judith Baca and over 400 youth and artists from the community over a year working 25 hours a week to finish a 13-foot tall, half-mile long mural. What is so amazing about this piece of work is that it brought together so many neighborhoods of people to create this mural, allowing them to make their mark on their own piece of the block. The mural still stands today and has actually been restored multiple times. Now let's talk about the river. The city of LA grew around the LA River, meandering over 500 square miles of largely flat floodplains, now covered by streets, freeways, and houses. Flooding of the LA River was always an issue, and so LA was shaped by the need to be a safe distance from the unpredictable flood-prone river. The river as we know it today was a product of a massive catastrophic flood on New Year's Eve 1934. This flood killed over 100 people and destroyed 198 homes. Another flood in March of 1938 led the Army Corps of Engineers to settle on using reinforced freeway-like concrete to control water flow and protect the neighborhoods around the river. Using a series of large, full-scale models of the river, the Army Corps was finally able to control the flooding that took place. Over 2 decades, the Army Corps transformed the LA River, once lined with cottonwood trees and other plants, into the concrete storm drain we see today. So we're down here by the banks of the river. You can see you have the walking path up at the top, and you have some people walking. You have the 60-degree incline of the concrete walls that were built by the Army Corps of Engineers. And then something that's unique to this portion of the river, here in Frogtown where I live, is you have something that's known as a soft bottom. Essentially, when the Army Corps of Engineers was pouring the concrete, they realized that there was natural springs in this area, and so no matter how much concrete they poured, they couldn't get it to set. So naturally, this is why you see trees and why you see vegetation in this portion of the LA River, and some other portions as well. But this is probably the most well known. So this portion of the LA River is curved because it follows, again, the natural springs that we just talked about, and the railroad yards, as other parts of the LA River, of course, are straighter. So as you can see, the river is pretty wide. It's pretty big, and your concept and your idea for the river can scale up and be as big as some of the examples that we talked about, or small and more iconic in what they are, or be anywhere in between. So we've come to the first challenge. But before I get into it, I wanted to thank you for being a part of this. This is this first in series of 4 workshops that we will be doing, and all of these videos will be posted on the EVAC social medias and website as well. And I just wanted to thank you for being a part of this, and for hopefully being entertained and excited for this project. And I'm really excited to see your work as well. I will provide an email address, and if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts you want to share, send me an email, and I will certainly get back to you. All right, on to challenge 1. For the first challenge, looking here on Google Maps, is meant to help you explore the LA River and how it lives within the city of LA. I want you to digitally walk the entire length of the LA River. Right, the river is 51 miles long, stretches all the way up here. You can kind of see the outline from way north of LA, down through Van Nuys, down through Burbank, Glendale, Frogtown, through downtown LA, and finally reaches Long Beach. I want you to find 3 things. Find something that is cool, find something that you don't like, and find something unknown, something that you don't know its purpose. The gathering hearing phase of design is where you will make observations, research, and find inspiration in what you've learned. This phase is just as much about the physical environment as it is about the social and personal stories that the river holds. Doing this together, when we start looking at challenge 1, just walking around digitally, walking around, you start to notice how these streets start to cross the river and how selectively they cross the river. You start to see how the highway moves vehicles, whereas the river moves water, right? Moves excess water down to Long Beach. You start to see these random canals, these random, railway lines that don't follow the rhythm of the streets. You start to see neighborhoods, in this case a trailer park, beautiful view of the river, right? You start to see how the river merges, how they merge together. So this wraps up the first of the 4 workshops. I would encourage you all to learn more about the LA River, its history, the wildlife, the neighborhood surrounding it. Go check out EVAC's film, Our River by Mimi Fan, to learn more about the LA River community of Frogtown. So make sure you keep those 3 things that you find. We'll be using them in next week's class as you craft your proposal. We'll start looking into the next steps of the design process. So thank you for being a part of this. I'll see you next week.